Let me say this before we start. If someone keeps making you wait, keeps explaining obvious things, and keeps ignoring what you say until someone else says it word for word verbatim, you're not being sensitive. You're being quietly disrespected. And the most dangerous part, you don't notice it at first. Welcome to Articulated Illustration, where we see things from unusual angles. I'm your host, Dwayne Richardson Sr., and this podcast is sponsored by me. And if you want to invest in purpose, let's build something beautiful together. Disrespect, subtle and blatant. A conversation from me to you. Now let me talk to you for a minute. Not from a place of anger, not from ego, but from experience. Because disrespect is one of those things that we were taught to minimize, excuse, and even spiritualize away until it quietly erodes our peace. And I want you to hear this clearly. Disrespect does not have to be loud for it to be real. Word of the day, diminish. To diminish means to make something seem smaller, less important, or less worthy over time. And that matters because most disrespect does not destroy you outright. It shrinks you slowly. And if you're not paying attention, you don't notice what's happening until you start questioning yourself. Now let's keep that word in mind. Diminish. What disrespect really is. Disrespect is not always insults. It's not always yelling. And it's not always confrontation. Disrespect is anything that consistently diminishes your position, your voice, or your effort. Sometimes it's obvious. Sometimes it hides in plain sight. And the danger isn't the disrespect itself. It's how long we choose to tolerate it while telling ourselves it's not that serious. Blatant disrespect is easy to identify. Being talked down to, being mocked, being openly dismissed, and having your boundaries violated without any kind of apology. That kind of disrespect wants reaction. It wants dominance. But blatant disrespect is not the most damaging kind. Subtle disrespect is quieter, and that's why it lasts longer. It tests your tolerance privately. It keeps asking one question: how much will you put up with? To repeated delay. Now let me give you something real. Imagine someone repeatedly saying, I'll get to it, I'll handle it, I'll bring it back, and I'll follow up. And you wait, and you remind them politely, and you give grace. But the delay keeps happening. Not once, not occasionally, but consistency. That's not being busy, and that's not being forgetful. That's quiet disregard. It's someone saying, your time does not carry urgency to me. And disrespect doesn't always deny you outright. Sometimes it just keeps you waiting. The discounted voice. Here's another one. You give accurate information, clear information, helpful information, and it's ignored. Then someone else repeats the same exact thing verbatim and tone, and suddenly it's valid? That's not confusion. That's selective respect. It's not what you said was wrong. It's that you weren't valued as the messenger. And that kind of disrespect truly attacks identity and not just words. Micromanaging as disrespect. Now let me talk about micromanaging for a moment. Micromanaging isn't about clarity. It's not about standards. And it's not about excellence. It shows up when you have already proven competence. Expectations are clear and results are consistent. Yet someone still hovers. They check behind you, redo your work just to be sure, change instructions constantly, and insert themselves unnecessarily. That's not leadership. That's insecurity wearing a badge of authority. Micromanaging and common sense. And here's the part people don't say out loud. Micromanaging often treats you like you don't have common sense, like you're a little child, explaining obvious things, over clarifying simple tasks, talking slowly or redundantly, just in case. That's not help. That's assumption. And the assumption is this: if I don't spell everything out, you'll mess it up. If the expectations are clear and results are solid, explaining the obvious is not leadership. It's subtle disrespect. Disrespect in relationships. Now, let me talk to you about relationships for a minute. Relationship disrespect rarely starts loud. It starts when consideration disappears, when you express discomfort, and you're told you're overthinking, or the classic, it's not that serious. That's not reassurance, people. That's dismissal. And dismissal is disrespect because it treats your awareness like an inconvenience. When your contributions are expected, but your needs are questioned, when you have to explain boundaries over and over and over again, that's not misunderstanding. That's straight up resistance. Respect listens the first time, and disrespect makes you keep justifying yourself until you are mentally exhausted. Outside influence. When people outside the relationship have more influence than the person inside of it, that's not advice. That's interference. When private matters become group discussions, when decisions are filtered through outsiders, when someone else's comfort is protected at your expense, that's outsourced authority. And a relationship cannot survive when influence is misaligned. You're no longer in a partnership. You found yourself in a committee. And committees don't protect intimacy. Why it hurts and why it increases. Subtle disrespect hurts more than blatant disrespect because blatant disrespect insults you. Subtle disrespect makes you question yourself. Here's the part nobody prepares you for. Disrespect often increases after you grow. When you stop explaining, when you stop overperforming, and when you stop chasing approval. Some people don't rise with you. They test you. The response. You don't need to argue. You don't need to confront everything. And on top of that, you don't need to prove your worth. You need standards. And standards show up in behavior. Access changes, energy shifts, and effort becomes returned. Excuses end because tolerating disrespect is not kindness, it's instruction. And what we are instructing people to do is how to treat us. So starting from this point on, we will no longer teach people how to disrespect us. Well, this has been today's articulated illustration. Thank you for joining me. And always remember to do what's absolutely necessary every day. And keep the pen in your hand. Why? It's your dreams, it's your goals, it's your life.